Hello and welcome. My name is Jen Johnston, Alumni Engagement Officer at Heriot-Watt. Our alumni team supports the Watt Club and is here to serve and grow our global alumni community. We deliver events such as this, activities and resources that support our alumni with your careers and endeavours after graduating and help you to keep in touch with university and fellow alum. We're delighted to welcome you today from all over the world to this webinar, What is Heriot-Watt Online? This webinar is being recorded and we will share a link to the recording after the event. I would also like to highlight the chat function, which is available at the bottom of your screen. Please feel free to pop any questions in there for our speakers, and we will try and answer as many as we can in the Q&A session at the end. This event will last for 45 minutes, and we will firstly hear from Sarah Beattie, Online Student Engagement Officer, followed by Dave Kelly, Head of Off-Campus Students. We will be sharing relevant links in the chat throughout the webinar, so please keep checking for any updates. I will now pass on to Sarah, who will give an overview of what Heriot-Watt Online is, the variety of courses, support and discounts available, plus clear guidance on how you can apply. Over to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Jen, and hello to everyone. So, as Jen said, I'm going to present a little bit about Heriot-Watt Online, the enrolment process, and any useful information that you should know. So why Heriot-Watt Online? Firstly, we are a global and very internationally diverse university. We have students from around 130 different countries, and our online programmes assignments frequently include opportunities for students to collaborate on topical issues. In addition to having this internationally diverse student body, we also have 3 international campuses. We have our Edinburgh campus, Dubai campus, and a Malaysia campus. This gives us a very global outlook in terms of the research that we do, and this research filters into the content and teaching of our programmes. Heriot-Watt Online students are taught by experts in their field. Students will be exposed to cutting-edge content taught by national and international leaders in their field. The same ones who advance their specific subject fields, write the textbooks, and develop the knowledge that is eventually embodied into the rules and new best practice. Heriot-Watt Online strives to offer the same academic support to online students as an on-campus peer would receive. We'll now take a little look into the virtual learning environment. Your study materials are accessed through our virtual learning environment. You gain access to this virtual learning environment once you enrol, register, and purchase your first course. So what would that actually look like? There are a wide variety of tools used to deliver each course, and each course and programme can vary in terms of the tools used dependent on the subject matter and your course leader. Our virtual learning environment gives you an introduction module to help you familiarise yourself with course topics and your virtual learning environment. You'll have extensive video content, access to e-textbooks, tools to help you track your progress throughout the course materials, collaborative discussion forums where you can engage with fellow students around the world, and practice materials, guidance, past paper for effectively preparing you for your examinations. So sitting your exams have changed slightly due to COVID-19. Exams are usually conducted in one of our exam centres, which we have 450 around the world, often held in British consulate buildings. Most students don't have to travel too far to reach their nearest exam centre. However, at the moment, we have moved exams online. They will be sat in a 24-hour format where you will gain access to your exam and have 24 hours to complete this online. Your course fee includes your examination fee and will automatically, for some of our programmes, will automatically register you for the next examination session. For other programmes, you will book on to your exam session when suits you. We have 3 exam sessions, one in April, May, one in August, and one in December. As I've said, Heriot-Watt Online strives to offer the same support to the online students as you would have received being an on-campus student. Here are some examples of the support that we'll offer you. You will always have an academic support from a tutor via the discussion boards or via email. You'll have support and collaboration opportunities with other students via discussion boards and cafe areas within the virtual learning environment. And you'll always have admin support in case of any problems from our dedicated Heriot-Watt online staff. The study requirements are 150 hours per course, and a dissertation should take around 600 hours. With the exception of our MBA, which does not have a maximum time frame, you should take around 2.5 to 8 years to complete your programme. The 8 years is the maximum, and you have a maximum of 2 years to complete a course. The table on the right-hand side of your screen shows the kind of minimum hours you should take to complete and then how long it should take you to complete your master's. This is based on a 36-week of the year timetable, as that's an academic year. With the MBA, you may be able to complete it slightly sooner. There is no minimum or maximum time frame. And for this, we have seen people take from 1 year up to 10 years to complete if they are really busy. So fees and funding will depend on the programme that you choose. Some fees are around £1,000 and up to around £1,300 per course. As you are an alum of Heriot-Watt University, you're entitled to an alumni discount, which I'll touch on further in the next slide. Payment options, we have payment options by card. If you're a sponsor student, we can fix out offline forms for you, or you can pay by bank transfer if you choose. So as I say, you're entitled to a 20% alumni discount, being an alumni from the university. To access this, you'll need to have an alumni discount form, which you will complete. We will process and send you more information on the application of your programme. So your next steps for enrolment, we have online applications. So you apply via our student application portal for everything apart from our MBA. This is done through the website, and for the MBA, it's done slightly differently. There is no matriculation process for the MBA, so you would enrol straight away. For the other programmes, you will pop in your information and then you'll receive an offer. Once you've uploaded your supporting documents, you will then have a 6-week enrolment period where you can purchase your first course, and then you're ready to go. For MBA, your enrolment process is you apply and purchase your first course, and you're ready to begin immediately. So what programmes does Heriot-Watt Online offer? We have over 20 online programmes to choose from. So these include, as on the screen there, civil, safety, water or petroleum engineering. We have a couple programmes on energy and renewables. There's business and management programmes. We've got marine programmes and various different construction and logistics and operations programmes as well. So just to recap, why online? It is flexible. You can still earn while you study, as there's no dedicated time to learning. You pay as you go for your courses, and you'll still end up with the same degree as an on-campus student. I'll now play a short video, which will go through a little bit around what our students say about the online experience.
In order to perform my job to a higher level, I've started my degree in online course with Heriot-Watt.
I'm very passionate about what I do, and I just really wanted to become an expert in that field.
The primary reason for choosing Heriot-Watt was the fact that I could do it via distance learning.
I wanted some way that I could get my master's without having to go into university.
I could study at my own pace. It allowed me to also fit it around my work commitments and also around my family commitments as well.
I have a young family of 2 and 4 year old. Studying for degree around family was a very big advantage.
Their distance learning courses offered a wide range of choices of how you study the modules.
Everything's there, so if you think, right, I'm going to dedicate this entire weekend to looking at this module, you can just get it done.
Even with online, it was as good as being on a campus.
I have developed myself, and I'm still making my network. I'm applying it every day in my job.
I'm now working in a role where I get to use a lot of the material that I studied on a day-to-day basis.
I see myself making a big leap in a career.
Becoming a better manager and a better professional.
I'm very happy and proud to be a graduate from Heriot-Watt.
So that was a great insight into what our students say at graduation. I would now encourage anyone, as Jen said, to pop questions in the chat, which should be at the bottom of your screen. We will get to these towards the end of the presentation. And for now, I will pass back to Jen. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. That was really useful insight into all that Heriot-Watt Online has to offer. And we're now going to hand over to Dave Kelly, Head of Off-Campus Students, to talk more about the fantastic benefits and opportunities available through Heriot-Watt Online, our strategic and long-term goals, and the expanding portfolio of courses on offer.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Jen. And just fantastic, actually, to just see that video there and just to hear some of the graduates talking about flexibility, which is at the core of everything we do. I just want to double check. Can you see my slides, Sarah? Are they okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
You can see them fine. Okay. So firstly, I just want to say as well, thanks for having me here this afternoon, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're calling in. It was just nice to see, particularly when I looked at the registrations for this webinar today. I think we had over 35 countries. Students and graduates register from 35 countries, which is incredible. I think that's testament to Heriot-Watt University and our global footprint as well. And also I want to firstly congratulate some of you at this webinar today, because I'm sure some of you have recently graduated at the fantastic ceremonies we had in Edinburgh. Some of you might be graduating this week in Dubai, or at our upcoming ceremony in Malaysia. So, and some of you may be graduates from a few years back. So I just want to congratulate you firstly on that. A bit of background to about myself and who I am. I'm the head of off-campus students at Heriot-Watt University. And I've worked for over 16 years really in the distance learning, online or off-campus space, as it's known, predominantly in that space. And I'm a member of the senior leadership team in the Registry and Academic Support Services Directorate, and previously I was a member of the senior leadership team of Edinburgh Business School, and I've held various roles from prospect experience through to marketing and student support operations across the business school and the university over the last few years. And a big shout out to Adam Gillis, the student engagement manager, who's also on this call, because Adam and I have worked closely together down through the years as well on different alumni initiatives across the world for our online students as well and our online graduates. So hello to Adam. And one thing I just want to mention as well, because it really resonated with me, I guess, at the recent graduation ceremonies when the principal talked about or 140,000, I believe it's closer to 150,000 strong alumni network. That is incredible. You know, every time he mentioned that at each ceremony, that really resonated with me. We've over 140,000, close to 150,000, I think now, in 190 countries across the world. And that's in no small part to as well, our global reach through our online programs as well. And even when I looked last night at some of the registrations for this event today, I could see that we may even have some online learners in this forum today, because I could see areas of interest from business administration through to some of our STEM areas as well, and construction project management and quantity surveying. So we're well represented. And just to give you some insight into what is Heriot-Watt Online all about. You know, it's what's our purpose, and really what we're trying to do here in Heriot-Watt Online at the university is develop and expand a robust programs which are of high value to our students. That's our ultimate aim. They have to be of high value to our students, that they can gain those tools and techniques to really solve business critical problems, and problems as well, global problems within the countries that they live as well around the world. And our mission is aligned to the University Strategy 2025, and that's to power economies and transform lives through providing world-class, relevant, flexible learning, so that those in employment and those seeking in employment, and I'm sure many of you may have already got jobs, and maybe some of you are still seeking jobs being recent graduates, that you've got access to exciting new opportunities. And you're probably thinking about what your next step is. You're maybe back in your home country and you're considering taking an online program now through this university that you've studied with for so many years. And that mission really is, as I mentioned, it's really aligned to the University Strategy 2025 themes as well. And some of you may be familiar with those themes, but just to kind of quickly talk about a few of them. One of them is building, obviously, flourishing communities of new learners from a Heriot-Watt online perspective, from non-traditional students as well. You know, we have many students that may not have had a chance to graduate like yourselves with a relevant degree or a recognized degree from a university. And we will look at giving those students, through our widening access philosophy, the chance to study one of our online programs. We want to continue to be pioneering in education as well, with new forms of innovative, flexible education delivery at scale, and that's really core to the philosophy of Heriot-Watt Online. Also, being globally connected, which we are with that global footprint that I just talked about, with almost 150,000 alumni across 190 countries. We need to really build on the expertise and the gains and knowledge of our talent pool and student pool in all of these countries that bring contextualization from their own experiential learning, and also providing the talent development needed for our global research institute partners as well. That's really important. Developing, I guess, programs that actually empower our students to provide those skills and build those global research institutes based on that learning as well. That's really important. Countries around the world, as you'll know here today, they're investing in skill building to give their citizens access to opportunity, ensure their economies thrive in a digital world. And that's just at the forefront of, I guess, of every government's plans at the moment. You know, and some of the things we've done as well, just to mention, particularly in Scotland, you know, our upskilling Scotland program has been really successful. You know, we've supported hundreds of learners, employees of different hundreds of organizations across Scotland, to upskill and learn and study, learn about new courses, learn about things like organizational behavior, learn about project management. You know, we've built, and we're going to build on that. Particularly, we're looking at other opportunities through providing employees in different economies, in organizations around the world, with the opportunity to upskill and reskill as necessary as well. And, you know, it's no doubt, you know, you'll all be aware, I'm sure, as well, as Heriot-Watt University has a reputation for being pioneering in education. And this continues today with some of the initiatives that you've all probably, some of you here have been part of, such as Fit for the Future, Empower. Some of you may have participated in the Empower initiative, or Future Made for Success. So there's a lot that's happened that many of you in this meeting today will be familiar with as well. I just thought I'd put up a slide here as well to say, you know, what are we trying to do through the development of the programs that we're launching in Heriot-Watt Online? You know, according to the World Economic Forum, and particularly catalyzed by COVID-19, there's been a 4-fold increase in the numbers of individuals seeking out opportunities for learning online through their own initiative. And I think that's really worth pointing out. And a 5-fold increase in employer provision of online learning opportunities to their workers, and a 9-fold increase in enrollment for learners accessing online learning through government programs. So you can't ignore those factors. You can see there what some of the huge challenges that exist that we're going to have to tackle in the future, such as climate change, such as rising unemployment, extreme disadvantage, ongoing health concerns, particularly with an aging population in some economies and countries around the world as well. And we need to be able to build as an institution a talent pool that's equipped to be able to solve those challenges, you know, and provide the solutions and do it through lifelong learning as well. You know, it doesn't just stop when you're a graduate. Many of you here today to look at what your next step is in terms of learning. And post-pandemic, you know, there's clearly an acceleration of the need for flexible lifelong education. That's pretty obvious, and that can be accessed at a time and a place. And I think this is key for many of you here today, which is convenient to the learner and in a form that is reached via a multitude of channels, often simultaneously, as we have seen in today's multi-device omni-channel environment. You know, many of you know, and certainly my experience from working in the online space for many, many years is, you know, we now in a space that, you know, learners are learning through their phones. You know, they're using their phones, they're using tablet devices, they're learning on the go, they're learning while they're traveling. It is multi-device and it's omni-channel. It's not just through the medium of text or online materials. There's other ways, podcasts, etc., that we can learn going forward. And just a couple of other, I think, important or interesting stats here as well. That's it's maybe worth mentioning. You know, a quality digital experience is expected by our students, and that's a given. You know, I'm sure none of you would settle for anything less. That's what you're expecting now. And according to a recent LinkedIn Learning report, 60% of learning and development professionals globally agree that learning and development has moved from a nice to have to a need to have. You know, and that was in 2021 that was carried out, that survey. And upskilling and reskilling is a top priority globally, with 79% expect to spend more on online learning. That's the reality of where we are today and what we're faced with. I thought here as well, I give you just an insight into some of the barriers and challenges we're trying to solve through the development of relevant programs, online programs. And one, for example, is our MSc in Digital Leadership, which Sarah touched on earlier. And I think this is we launched that program in August 2021. And the reason we did is because, you know, governments and countries now that are identifying digital skills gaps within their nations. They know they have to upskill and reskilling, just like I talked about, just as I mentioned about the upskilling initiative in Scotland that we're running. The MSc in Digital Leadership, for example, that's designed to equip students with business and technical expertise to lead digital experience initiatives in their own organizations. And, you know, there's other areas in here as well that, you know, there's been probably most recently, there's been, particularly in the organizational side, maybe a focus on technology at the expense of people, but people are critical to this. And when we've developed this MSc in Digital Leadership, you know, we've did it on the premise of combining an accelerated introduction to management with a detailed consideration of transformational technologies and techniques. So it brings the people element and the digital element together, you know, and some of the areas that we've had to look at is, you know, there is a requirement now, particularly in organizations, to rethink leadership and talent management for a digital world. So as we develop our online courses, we're trying to really get in beneath the bonnet and find out what is it organizations need at a macro level. What is it countries, what types of skills gaps are they trying to bridge the gap between and solve? So a lot of consideration goes into these programs. We launched, you know, aside from the current portfolio, which Sarah touched on, you know, we have some exciting new programs coming, and one which I'll mention in a moment as well. We have a new MSc Digital Leadership, which I just talked about. We have a logistics and supply chain management program, and also business analytics and consulting. And we're redeveloping our STEM programs as well, and looking at new possibilities, particularly around energy transition for the future as well. So there's lots of exciting things happening in that space. I just thought as well I'd touch on some of the principles, particularly for our online course development team when we're looking at our Heriot-Watt online programs. What are the principles what are the principles which guide our development of our programs? And I would say in Heriot-Watt Online, you know, we are committed to helping our students be global practitioners, you know, and critical thinkers, to explore the ethical and sustainability dimensions of everything they learn. You know, so everything we do is grounded in kindness, respect, and a critical mindset, and most importantly, evidence as well. So, you know, particularly when our online course development teams are working alongside our academics, these are guiding principles in everything they do, and they have to, when they're considering how they approach developing content for these courses. Second point there is a global community inspires collaboration and co-creation. You know, I've said it a few times already in this webinar. You know, we have Heriot-Watt Online is a global community, students, digital specialists, and teachers, and even I was just thinking about the MSc in psychology is a good example of that program. We've got teams across the globe working on that program as we speak. And, it spans nationalities, cultures, and boundaries. By fostering that collaboration, reflection, and active engagement online, we can look at contemporary challenges from a range of perspectives and negotiate that complexity and explore ethical dimensions as well. That third point there, a flexible education is self-paced, social, and underpinned by applied and authentic assessment as well. Whether you're following a timetable or learning at your own pace, we want students to feel part of a collective. And that authentic assessment is aligned with curriculum and teaching, but it's also representative of life beyond the course. If you kind of think back, and I know the principal talked about this, during the graduation, Heriot-Watt University was founded by, it was a conversation between Leonard Horner, a linen merchant, and Robert Bryson, a clockmaker in Edinburgh. They had, in the 1800s, there was a demand for watches, but there wasn't the skills to be able to fix watches. So they developed a night school to give the citizens of Edinburgh teach them the practical skills, tools, to be able to fix watches, because there was more and more demand for watches because of time, because people now they didn't have clocks or watches in their houses way back then. And then when it came to the 18th century, that became more and more prominent, and that demand came. So they needed to find a practical solution to a problem, and that's what they did. And that's really the underpinning philosophy of Heriot-Watt Online at Heriot-Watt University. We teach people to apply what they learn practically in their work environments as well. So, we want our students to apply what they're learning in their careers and develop critical literacies that will sustain learning throughout their lives. That's a given as well. So as well, on that 4th point as well, we want an authentic sense of space, place, and people. And that's what makes digital education more meaningful. We want to help convey not just teachers' passion for their subjects, but a genuine sense of who they are as people. And that's what we do. Particularly, we consider this when the online course development team are developing these courses alongside their academics. That's at the forefront of their thoughts as well. So we really want to make sure that you as our students find the content engaging. And as well, that last point, we really want to keep barriers to entry as low as possible, so students can benefit across every location and mode. That's the reality. And offline materials such as podcasts, for example, are as useful for someone who spends a lot of time traveling as they are for somebody with very little or limited internet access. So well-designed, authentic digital media can help to build connections between teachers and students, both online and face-to-face. And we can help students to overcome language challenges by ensuring that all our materials are born accessible. So I think that's a pretty important point to make as well. And here I thought I'd just give just a bit of an insight into the makeup of a course. So what's been considered when we're putting together a course for a program in Heriot-Watt Online. And, the course development team in Heriot-Watt Online as well, these courses, at the forefront of their mind is they make sure that they design them for you, because they know you learn or students learn in a variety of different ways. So they're based on Diana Laurelad's conversational framework, and you'll find a link to that on YouTube, or we can post a link in the chat to that conversational framework if you're interested at the end of the webinar. But studying online, as we know, it's not a fallback for when face-to-face is not viable. Online education can be just as interesting, as engaging, and as challenging as its classroom counterpart. And in the early days, I guess, of digital education, self-paced courses were probably a very much, they were a very much an individual effort, I guess. And I can remember back to the early days of the MBA, and it was by correspondence. That's the reality. Students maybe felt a bit isolated. They sent in green forms when they wanted to sit an examination. That would come into they were sent a book was posted out. They'd learn on their own. They would send this green form to say, I'm going to register on this date to attend the centre and sit my examination. It was quite isolating, I guess, when you look back. But certainly, definitely in Heriot-Watt Online, our student community is at the heart of everything we do. And you'll have the opportunity in each course to discuss core topics with an enthusiastic and engaged global community. That's really important. Sharing examples of best practice from each of your localities. And it's great to see that contextualization, particularly when you read the online courses and you look at the course forum and you see students from different nationalities, cultures, and backgrounds engaging with each other and discussing particular topics or how they may approach a task that's set, and given their own contextual experience and learned experience of how they may look at something maybe in a different light from some other student. And that's really where you really get those synergies. You get that. It's fantastic to look at, how students can contribute to group work in that particular area. It could be, the courses. Some of the courses are made up differently. Some of them have coursework, some of them have fieldwork, and I'll speak a bit about that in a moment as well. But the importance is learning from each other and learning from examples and getting those practical solutions to problems as well. So how we assess our courses here, you touched on this. I think I'm just going to briefly touch on it as well. Just to say, we have a unique authentic assessment tailored to each course, which are aligned, of course, to the course objectives and the learning outcomes for each course. Where relevant, we'll provide practice exams as well to ensure that our online students are, properly prepared before they take on a piece of assessment as well, and make sure that they've got enough there that they feel comfortable that when they register for the assessment that they're properly prepared for it, as well. And I just touched on it a few minutes ago, but just to mention as well that components of assessment can consist of fieldwork, coursework, final examination, or a combination of the above, and at MSc level as well. After you complete your 8 talk courses, you progress to the dissertation. It could be a reflective portfolio, or it could be a project or a couple of projects as well. It just depends on the online program that you're studying. So I mentioned earlier just about exciting news about a new online program that we're launching in January 2023, and this may be of interest to some of you here today. I hope so. It's an MSc in business psychology, and really this is aimed at people already or aspiring towards a career in management or human resource related fields within an industry. It's people that are maybe already looking to expand their knowledge, particularly if they're working in HR, for example, or they want to expand their organizational knowledge, just to improve processes and to make people better within their organizations as well, and improve how things run there. Or maybe some people that actually want to branch out into specialist consultancy as well in business psychology. This is the program for you as well. And it provides students with a detailed understanding really of various aspects of psychology relevant to the workplace. Students may find some subject areas familiar from previous studies and work experiences. And in all areas, however, the business psychology approach is to utilize that primary research data and psychological principles to analyze situations and develop evidence-based practice. So I'm hoping it will be exciting. I'm hoping it's of interest to some of you here today, and it will be exciting to launch this. The first teaching, in fact, happens in January. The teaching starts in January 2023, and applications open though in August. I would say that this August. We're hoping next month we can open applications for that program. Just to mention, in January 23, we'll start with 2 courses. So 2 courses will be taught, both 15 credits. And again, it's 8 taught online courses and then the dissertation. That's what students are expected to complete to achieve the MSc. Now, entry is gained by holding a relevant undergraduate honours degree or equivalent, or we will also consider non-graduate candidates as well that don't hold a good honours degree, but we will assess on other criteria as well. We'll be expecting, such as compensation qualifications or relevant work experience as well. So there are other considerations. So, but for many of you here today, that's we would look at, you already have an undergraduate degree from Heriot-Watt, so that's fantastic. Just to mention as well, because a question I often get, which could be maybe it is a bit daunting. I think it could be a bit of a worry sometimes for online students. You're going into the world of online, and it's always maybe that fear of what's different from the on-campus experience as well. So we try to support our online students who may not have any experience previously of studying online with an induction and orientation course, particularly to take them through what it's like to be an online learner, what tools do you need to help you manage online learning, particularly if you're studying at your own pace as well. So that induction and orientation course will take you through that process as well. And we have it on our Aegis online programs as well. We have a course there that we encourage all our new students to study, Introduction to Digital Skills and Academic Study as well. It takes them through what's expected and how to manage their own expectations as well, as they progress through their study as a Heriot-Watt online student. But also we've launched, last autumn, we launched the Grad Futures Careers platform. And this is a career support service, and it's there to support you in your career planning. Some of you here today may have already logged on and used the Grad Futures Careers platform as well. I'm conscious of that, given you're graduates. So you know that it's there to develop your employability skills, and I'm delighted to say that our online students now have access to that, and to identify potential career options and help to find work experience as well, and market yourself to employers. So, I would certainly strongly recommend that our online students use this platform, and I'm delighted that we have many of our online students do now access this on a monthly basis. And it's fantastic to see that as well, that we're expanding that support and making sure that we do support our online students right through their studies. Now, I know that's quite a lot of information for you probably to take in, but I hope you found that worthwhile, and I'll probably open it up now for questions. If you have any questions, I'll hand back to Jen and we can take some. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you very much, Dave. That was great to hear about all the wide-ranging online courses available, and obviously the fact it's been designed to offer flexible study while in full-time employment with the skills that are instantly transferable to employers. So I think that was really, really interesting to hear. Thank you. So I have some questions already. I'll kick off with the first one. I think I'll direct this to you, Dave, please. Is an online qualification equivalent to an on-campus qualification?
That's a great question, Jen. It's one I often get asked. Prospective students is sometimes, there's always that concern that it's of less value or it's perceived to be of lesser quality, and that's absolutely not the case. The degree you study as part of an online program is the exact same degree that you would graduate if that course or program was offered as an on-campus program. There's absolutely no reference to distance learning on the degree, because it's actually the outputs that matter. You're studying the program, you're studying for instance, the Aegis online programs, they're 15 credit courses. You're studying a Heriot-Watt University Award. So it's exactly the equivalent. And it's it takes as well, I guess that's an important thing, and maybe I didn't cover it, Jen. It does take dedication, and self-discipline to study online. And I think that's really important as well to stress that. But a lot of our students here, or people here attending this webinar today, are graduates. So they'll be conscious of that as well. So, it's exactly the same degree. It's awarded by Heriot-Watt University, and it's of no lesser quality. It's exactly the same.
Great. Thank you very much. Also, we touched a bit on this, Sarah, but could you explain a wee bit more about the application process, maybe the deadline for applications, so people don't miss out, what timescales we should be looking for? That would be really helpful, I think.
Yeah, of course, no problem. So applications for our kind of engineering, renewable energy and construction programs, the deadline for that for the September intake will be the 15th of August. And we'll also have a January intake for them as well. So 15th of December is the application deadline for those 2 semesters. In terms of the MBA, the logistics, the business analytics, they all have open enrollment. So open enrollment means you can apply and begin anytime. The application process for them is slightly different. So for those programs, you apply online, you will pay for your course at the time, and that's you into the virtual learning environment straight after that. So you can begin studying immediately. Whereas for the engineering courses and the construction courses, you apply online, you submit your documentation, and then thereafter is when you receive your offer letter, any conditional offers, pop in the rest of your documents to the team, and then you're able to begin once the semester starts, which is usually around the first or second week of either September or January.
Great. That's great. Thank you very much. Now, Dave, you mentioned about one of the key principles being authentic sense of space, place, and people, making digital education more meaningful, which I thought was great. Can you give us a wee bit more of an insight into what the online teaching space will be like for our online students?
Yeah, like, it's quite interesting, Jen. I'd love to be able to just share the platform if I could, but I don't know. I might just have technical difficulties as well to do that. But the way that the courses are broken up, they're modular in structure as well. So students can take each section in bite-sized chunks of content as well. So there is points of interaction as well throughout the courses as well. So a tutor may ask a question, they may set a task, for example. So take, for instance, the MSc in psychology as well. That'll be quite interactive. Tutors may set tasks in a given week once that begins, and then students will go away and they'll do it in their own time as well. So there's lots of engaging content in there as well. I think I touched on the fact that the online course development team, they've been conscious to use people learn in different ways. And I think that's really important to stress as well. Not everybody learns in the same way. So using different types of content, whether it's podcasts, video content, access to ebooks as well, which Sarah, you mentioned earlier as well, Cortext, we provide access to those ebooks as well. So we use various different methods, I guess, Jen, to make sure that the content's engaging as well. And I would also like to stress, what I find fantastic when I look at it is the level of engagement through the course forums as well. So tutors are on there. Students have the ability to go on and ask questions as well. So if they're experiencing difficulties within the course, they can go on there and they can express that, but they can ask their peers as well. So it's all about peer engagement, working with your fellow students. And often you find students come back with the solutions as well. So when you look at that engaging content in there, there may be a particular issue that a student is having difficulty with, and another student can help them and offer that. And then the tutor can come in as well. So there's lots of ways to interact on the platforms as well. And we're looking at opportunities as well. And we ask students what they think. I think that's the important thing. We're always looking for feedback as well, and that we can enhance the offering, I guess, and that's really important.
Oh, thank you. We've had one question come in through the chat, and you've answered a little bit there, Dave. I think, how can I connect with other students who are studying my course?
Yeah, I think that's it. That's a good question as well. You can connect through the courses and also through the program hub. So we've developed a program hub, which we've just launched for the new EBS Heriot-Watt online programs, the ones Sarah just mentioned laterally there, the logistics, the business analytics and consulting, and the MSc in digital leadership. There's a forum in there and you can engage with other students as well, because we want to create that sense of community. Heriot-Watt online, if you look at that global footprint that I talk about, it's built on our students feeling part of a vibrant learner community. That's critical to it as well. So you can do that. Many of our students do that through some students do through, I guess, Facebook groups as well, but you can do it within the courses as well, because that's really focused on that content as well. And you'll see that. What I like particularly in the Connect Us VLE is where we've got little flags as well that indicate the countries that our students are from as well. So yeah, just to answer that question, I might have been a bit long-winded with it, but yeah, you can do it through the courses.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. So I think we're coming to the end of our time today. I would just like to say a special thank you to our speakers, Sarah and Dave, and to everyone who has joined today. Please remember to look out for your follow-up email, which will include a recording of this webinar, and please feel free to share this with your networks. Before you leave, check out the links in the chat on how you can apply for Heriot-Watt Online and how you can keep in touch with the Watt Club. Dave mentioned one of our key principles, obviously, our global community inspiring collaboration and co-creation, and we really believe that with our global alumni community with over 150,000 alum in 190 countries, and you can join our group on LinkedIn, which is over 19,000 followers. So we look forward to seeing you again soon. That's the end of today's webinar, but thank you for joining and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.